Let's talk about one of the biggest, most mind-bending questions we've ever asked ourselves. We're looking at a universe that should be bursting with life. So why is it so quiet out there? It's such a simple question, right? Where is everybody? Physicist Enrico Fermi supposedly asked it during lunch way back in 1950. And honestly, the more you dig into it, the more it really starts to mess with your head. Because when we point our telescopes to the stars, what we get back is just silence. A huge, deep, and kind of spooky silence. So to really get why that's so weird, we need to talk about the scale of it all. And it's just staggering.
Okay, let's start at home. Right here in our own Milky Way galaxy, astronomers figure there are at least 100 billion stars. That number is so big, it's more stars than all the grains of sand on every single beach here on Earth. Just let that sink in for a second.
But now let's zoom out, way out. The part of the universe we can see, it's packed with an estimated 2 trillion galaxies. Not stars, galaxies. And each one of those has billions or even trillions of its own stars. The numbers just become almost meaningless. They're so huge. So, out of all those stars, what are the odds for life? Well, scientists think that just in our galaxy alone, there could be something like 40 billion planets that are a lot like Earth. Rocky, orbiting in that Goldilocks zone where water could be liquid. 40 billion potential homes for life. And yet, after all that, after decades of listening with our best technology, we have heard absolutely nothing. Not a peep, not one credible, intelligent signal. Just static. A complete and total cosmic silence. So you've got this insane number of opportunities for life on one hand, and this deafening silence on the other. That massive contradiction is exactly what we call the Fermi Paradox. To put it another way, all the math and logic tells us that space should be buzzing with activity, like a cosmic city. But everything we actually observe tells us we're in an empty wilderness. So it brings us right back to that question. Where is everybody? Now, of course, people have been trying to solve this puzzle for ages, and there are a ton of different theories out there trying to explain this silence. Let's run through some of the usual suspects. Maybe we just got lucky and we really are the only ones. Or maybe the universe is so vast that civilizations pop up and die out long before they could ever meet. Maybe everyone just blows themselves up eventually. Some people even think aliens are watching us like we're a nature preserve. But there's another idea, an explanation that's a whole lot darker. And that brings us to the Great Filter. The basic idea here is that somewhere on the long, hard road from a simple microbe to a civilization that can travel between the stars, there's a wall, a barrier that's almost impossible to get past. Think of it like the final boss in a video game, but for an entire species. It's a test so incredibly difficult that almost nobody, anywhere in the universe, ever passes it. I mean, just look at the journey life has to take. It's a series of massive, improbable leaps. You need the right planet to begin with. Then life has to somehow spark from non-living chemicals. Then simple cells have to evolve into complex ones. Then you need intelligence. Each step is a huge hurdle. The big question is, where on this timeline is that near impossible test? Where is the Great Filter? And this is where it gets really real for us, for humanity. Because the answer to that question could literally determine our entire future. Is this massive, civilization-ending test something we've already somehow miraculously passed? Or is it still waiting for us, somewhere up the road? Because those two answers lead to two completely different fates for us. And this lays it out perfectly. Okay, on one hand, let's say the filter is behind us. Maybe the hardest part was just life getting started in the first place, or evolving complex cells. If that's the case, then wow, we won the cosmic lottery. We're one of the first, maybe the only ones to make it through. The universe is an open road for us. But what if the filter is ahead of us? That is a terrifying thought, because it would mean that countless civilizations before us got to about where we are now, and then something happened. Something they couldn't overcome. Maybe it's nuclear war, runaway AI, climate collapse, a final test that nobody ever has passed. So when we look up at that silent, starry sky, it's either the most beautiful and hopeful sight imaginable, a sign that the way forward is clear for us, or it's a graveyard, a silent warning of what's to come. And that's the question the Great Filter leaves us with, isn't it? Is the long, amazing story of humanity just getting started? Or are we unknowingly speeding towards the very same final chapter that explains why space is so silent?